if Clydus gets back in touch, here's what we'll do. Hello, and welcome back to Season 2.5 of the Lost Legends of Scadrial Mistborn Adventure Game Podcast. With me, I have You Missed Them, You Love Them, it's the Well-Roasted Dusters.
Hello, I am Lena, I play Beladora Wilde.
I'm Zach, and I play Finnigan Bomon.
I'm John, I go by Clovermite Online, and I play Clydus Logan.
Let's jump back in. I think that we should hit things up pretty much exactly where we left off, with you guys leaving Elendel to head out towards the southern side of the basin, more towards the Roughs. You have once again gotten on your trusty steeds of Cappuccino, Princess, and Stallion. And you are headed south on the trail. Do we want to pick it up as you're traveling, or maybe when you guys stop for the first night?
I'd say stop when we stop for the first night.
Okay, so you had a pretty hard day ride, trying to get away from the city, just trying to draw as little attention to yourself as you can while putting as much distance between established law and order and established society as you can. And then the first night, you decide to, for the sake of caution, avoid any attention that you can towards yourselves, so you don't light a fire or anything like that. You just find a nice out-of-the-way spot to settle down, and it's probably just a couple hours past when the sun's set, so you're not quite tired or tired enough to go to bed yet, but there's not much to do in the dark, and so you guys have just kind of been left alone with each other and your thoughts.
Isabel Dora.
Not exactly.
I mean, that's probably the price you pay for the type of revenge you got.
It was worth it, though.
Suppose you did light up enough that one night to last us a few nights.
Wishing I kept one of those... Oh, no, I'm kidding. I definitely don't wish I kept one of those cocktails.
Did you keep one of those cocktails?
No, we used them all.
Oh.
Went to good use.
They're great in a pinch.
Speaking of pinch, I've been thinking about what he said with all that moon nonsense. I think he was trying to tell us about I guess you, because he doesn't know about me, the Christophori family crest.
That's a little bit too heady for me. But seems like we've got ourselves roped into something that's a little bit bigger than us.
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, between all of this political connections and, the mob and things like that, it seems like we've stumbled across something that maybe people weren't supposed to stumble across.
Fair enough. Mob has their hands in all kinds of pies, so to speak.
So, where exactly is this ranch we're heading to?
Well, it's not too far outside the basin, out in the Roughs. It's just a little bit out of the way. My pappy always prefer to keep prying eyes away, have his peace and quiet to himself. As he always used to say, ain't no good setting yourself down to sleep if you're gonna just stir up the cows. So you might as well get them laid to rest so you can get yours.
I have absolutely no idea what that means.
Yeah, what?
Well, perhaps not everything he said made a whole lot of sense, but I reckon that it means that if you want some peace and quiet, take care of your business and do it out of the way.
So what you're saying is...
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Nope, still don't get it. It's gone.
Right on the nose, Beladora. It is in the middle of nowhere.
Charming. Guess it is what we need, though.
But, if there's one place that you want to be when you're being pursued, I imagine it's nowhere.
I've always wanted to go out to the roughs myself. Sounded like great place for, adventure and... really, it was all about the adventure, to be honest. You hear stories growing up, and you don't really know what it's like till you're there. But I've always wanted to do it.
Well, unfortunately, those stories are a little bit more of the romantic side of things. A whole lot of nothing goes on out there for the most part.
So
I remember back when I...
So you're saying you're the result of a whole lot of nothing? Because that seems a little bit far-fetched.
It's not all nothing. There's a lot of nothing. Then you get some crazy in between. So the crazy is what makes the stories, but the crazy is, thankfully, not all the time. And even then, what you hear, it's the exaggerated version of things.
So what's the unexaggerated version of things? I mean, I've heard of, duels at noon with a lawman and an outlaw, and they fire guns at each other, and then one of them dies, and then one rides off in the sunset, or at least those are stories I was told.
Reality, I imagine, is a whole lot of dust.
Yep. I remember one of the big pieces of excitement from early childhood. One of our farm hands decided that it'd be great fun as a prank in his first day to try and do a little cow tipping. Went over and tried to shove one of the heifers over, but it just happened to be right when we were taking one of the bulls out of their pen, and he saw that and came running at that stupid Rustin man, and he ran for his life. Left the door open, and then all the cows went on a stampede. Took us damn near a week to get all of them back. Even then, we didn't find the little one. I think probably some coyotes got to that guy.
That's a real charming story you have there, Clydus.
So it's less outlaws and more cows and coyotes?
Well, there's outlaws, but those stories often end in you got shot and dead. I suppose I stirred up enough of my own trouble. That's partly how I ended up in Rashkin myself. Decided that I had enough of hanging around home and was going to go out and get away from the small timers. Someone stops by pretending like, they're just a man down on their luck and they need some place to stay, and think they're being all clever when they pull their gun out behind your back as soon as you turn to go grab some water. And you have to tie them up by their ankles, hang them from a tree, and let them plead their case before you decide whether or not to shoot them on the spot. Or whether they got something that they can give you in return. But again, those are less often my parts. I suppose the large part of that has to do with my pappy. He is what you might consider an intimidating man when he wants to be.
If you consider him intimidating, I'm intrigued.
Well, he is my late great pappy, so you unfortunately will not get a chance to meet him. Get to meet my cousins, though. They took over handling the place when I moved out.
Oh, so late great wasn't like a turn of phrase. He's actually passed on.
Yes.
Well, my condolences.
Appreciate it. Yeah, after he died, I'd already left the place. I actually inherited it, but I'd already had enough roaming the wilds, searching for my own trouble. Didn't feel like coming back to cows and their pies. So I left it in the hands of my cousin.
If you could see in the dark, you would look over and see Bella face-palming.
I don't think Clydus can, right? That's not a thing for Colossus.
Not any better than anybody else.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Well, on that note, I suppose I'm about ready to turn in. Unless y'all have something you want to talk about.
Okay, yeah, so you guys turn in for the night. The next day is a little bit of the same. Clydus leads you out of town on the southern edge, heading out towards the roughs. And the plan is you brought about a week's worth of supplies with you, or maybe a couple of days. But there is a town that is connected by railway between Elendel and it's called Terrier. And so the plan is at the moment to stop there for supplies before cutting more towards the east to get to the Seran mountain range. And so it's a couple more days ride. Everybody give me a spirit roll.
The thing that Clydus is worst at. Yeah, I got nothing.
I got a nudge. I'm just imagining that this is whether or not there's going to be a wanted poster in town.
Very well could be.
Okay, where are my stats? How do I play?
It's been so long.
Play this?
You have a spirit of 2.
And I rolled nothing.
And Finn, what did you roll?
A nudge.
Okay, and you did your full 4, right? All of your standings should be.
I did use a full.
Okay. So yeah, you guys pull up to town, and Zach kind of hit it on the nose there. As you come up to town, you notice that there is a freshly printed wanted poster giving the description of everyone in the party on the outside of town.
Something tells me we should change how we're dressed.
Something tells me we should just keep on moseying.
I have pulled the poster down and I am reading it in extreme detail to make sure that it describes me as, like, awe-strikingly beautiful and...
As you're reading it, you notice that, like, it's an accurate description of you, but it's as unflattering as it could be, and you can pretty much tell that this was handwritten. I mean, the poster isn't, but the description was handwritten by Veretta, because it'll say something like, dresses in what could be considered fine taste. Just very, very subtle digs like that, all over, like, hairstyle just out of fashion.
I tear up the poster.
Did it at least get my nose right?
There aren't
This
any
just doesn't
drawings
sound
on
like
it.
me at
Oh,
all.
good.
Just the descriptions. But Clydus, they've got pretty much down to a T.
There are only so many Kolos blooded with a beguiling smile.
Yeah. Particular ones dressed as cowboys, walking around with a couple of, well, Beladora and a Finn.
Finn, the interesting thing about you is that they describe more of the costume that you were wearing. So, like, I imagine that maybe, like, you had to darken your hair up just, like, a little bit. And so, like, being as nondescript as you are, you feel as though the description could be you, but, like, you wouldn't connect this description with anyone in particular.
Nice.
I'm just imagining the descriptions being like, 5'8" woman, approximately late 20s to early 30s, slightly out of fashion blue dress, and like a detailed description of Bella and Clydus. And then when it gets to Finn, it's just like, and I don't know, some guy in like a chef outfit, maybe?
It's all the rage in Elendel.
It's all the rage in Elendel.
Alright, well, Clydus just gets back on his horse and starts heading out of the city.
You know, maybe if we need supplies, my description isn't that great. I don't think anyone would be able to tell that this is me, but if I went in and got the supplies for us.
Works for me. I'm gonna go hide in a bush or something.
You may want to think of a tree instead.
I've just got this image of Clydus, like, hiding in a bush, and, like, he's got one, like, particular branch that he found that's pretty leafy that he's holding in front of his head, and then Cappuccino walks over and takes a big bite out of that branch, and suddenly you can see his hat.
I'm just imagining Clydus being too big for a bush in general.
It's a figure of speech, okay? I'll climb a tree, whatever.
So does that sound like the plan? I'll go into town, get the supplies we need, and meet you guys back outside?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, Stallion, let's go.
All right, you head into town, and actually first, Bella and Clydus, what do you think you two are doing? Just going off to find somewhere to lie low?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm maybe looking for like a little stream or something slightly off the path so I can wash my face.
Let me take a closer look at the map here. Terrier is away from either of the rivers. I figured that Clydus would try and keep you guys away from the main rail line for as long as possible and away from the rivers for as long as possible.
Fair enough. Then she's probably just standing by the tree that Clydus is sitting in and sulking.
Clydus does his best thinking in trees. Clydus, why don't you go ahead and give me a wits roll +1.
Oh, I got 5s and a nudge.
Okay, yeah, so you're able to find like a small out-of-the-way copse of trees that it doesn't have a stream in it, but it's got a small pond that doesn't look like very scummy or anything. It has kind of clearish water.
I love that I still managed to roll well for my hiding rolls despite being one of the most conspicuous characters in the podcast.
Finn, you head into town, and it's a fairly mid-sized town. It's not on a railway, so it hasn't grown as big as some of the towns like Doxanar or Dryport. But it's still a fairly reputable size, considering it's not out in the roughs. It's still in the basin. Where would you be heading first?
Probably some type of general store.
Okay. Go ahead and just give me a regular resources roll. Looks like you've still got your -1, so make it a roll of 4.
4s.
Yeah, so you go in there and you are able to find as much supplies as you need to get you to the next step in the journey, which is another smaller town. This one that's on the river and the railway, but it's further away from the basin towards the edge of the basin itself. So you're able to secure all of these supplies, and give me a wits roll.
Aha! That was also 4.
As you're in there, you notice that...
Oh, no, that wasn't... I hadn't rolled yet.
Oh, okay.
I was checking the number of dice I needed to roll.
Gotcha.
That was 5s and a nudge.
You notice, as you're starting to pay for everything, you look down and they have a news counter that have, on just a couple of days' delay, one of the newspapers from Elendel. And you're kind of have your you just are absently looking through them, and then you notice third one down the name Irvan on Irvan on one of the headlines. And you reach down and you grab that paper, and at the top of the paper is a headline that says Kelson Wilde to marry into Irvan family assumes control of new factory workers union.
Oh, no. Are there any more details in the headline, or?
It basically goes on to give a brief description of the events of that night. The house burning down, the protest that was being staged outside the manor when the fire happened. And then it also has a printed copy of a speech that Kelson gave that night to the crowd that was gathered there that directly led to the formation of the Factory Workers Union and the election of Kelson to that position.
Okay. I'm going to buy the magazine as well, or the newspaper as well.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take 2 resources from you, so the -1 and 1 more on top of that.
So I've spent 1.
Yep.
Okay. Do I happen to see anybody like putting up wanted posters or anything like that? So I can like steer clear of them while I'm working on getting the rest of the supplies.
Give me a wits roll.
2s.
You do notice in the corner of the main street, there's a man who's just kind of sitting or standing with his arms around, leaning against his horse, who has a badge on his jacket, but he doesn't seem to be doing, looking at you in particular. He just seems to be the local sheriff in this town.
Gotcha.
You do not notice anything else.
Are there any supplies that I need? Other supplies that I need?
I think you would have been able to get most of what you need from there. You're mostly just looking at basic foods because you're not trying to travel in luxury or anything. You're just trying to get from point A to point B.
Like dried foods that keep well and some water and...
Exactly. Yeah, just enough to fill up the saddlebags. You probably left Stallion behind and took Cappuccino and Princess with you, so that way you could load them up a little more heavily than you could load up Stallion. But then refilled everybody's packs and got all of your supplies ready.
Could I get some like cheap ales for the road or something like that?
Give me one more resources roll. Or actually, no, just if you take another resource off, I'll allow it.
Cool. Well, I feel mightily satisfied with the shopping trip, unless I see anything else of import that is going on in town that should require any kind of attention. I am good to go.
Nope, you're able to slip back out pretty easily. Being as unassuming as you are, and as reserved as you are, nobody really gives you a second glance. And so, what was that one trait that you got? I can't find it, but the one that lets you blend in.
Oh yeah, it's the blend in a crowd. It's a power called blends in. I'm harder to spot in a crowd. It's one of my stunts.
I think that works for this as well, considering the descriptions that you've had of Finn. So you're able to get back out of the city pretty easily and make your way back to the copse that Clydus found for you guys to hide in outside of town.
How'd it go?
Well, that went off without a hitch, fortunately.
Well, that's a first.
I mean, there was some mean-looking lawman there, but he didn't pay me any attention. Other than that, I got the supplies, and Bella, I got this. You may want to take a look at it.
I take the paper and I read it over.
And
then you see her hands just kind of like crumple the paper a little bit as she reads. It's really cute how my brother thinks that he can outdo me in speech making, but maybe one day I'll pay another visit and make sure to take him down a couple pegs.
What'd he say?
What did he say, Trevor?
There's a couple of key things that you notice. One is that he talks about rising from the fire that has been set in order to create a better city, and how so even though some members of his family are not willing to look towards the future instead of the past, he was ready to help bridge the gap between the people of the city and the Irvan family. And that the part that really enraged you the most was the impassioned plea that he gave to understand that Veretta is not like the rest of her family. And as the child that's set to take over the family business and take over administration of the city, that they have a real chance for change.
Says the placeholder.
There's no way that he wrote this speech all by himself. He's not smart enough for this.
He's probably a puppet being pulled by the strings.
Or a lapdog kept on a leash.
Yeah, and he probably thinks he's doing something real noble in doing it. But anyway, my brother's an idiot. We already knew that. Moving on.
True.
I just can't help but feel we may have put those workers in a worse position than they started off in.
Possible. Don't know that it made that much of a difference, though. She was going to take over anyway. He had his starry-eyed dreams of being Mr. Savior.
And then when he inevitably fails, then we will be there to pick up the pieces. Eventually.
Or burn them down.
Or burn them down.
But I mean, we aren't like people who just breeze into town burning whatever we want. There was actual cause to try and help people with this, and if I mean, it just weighs on me that they may be in a worse position than where they started because of us.
But like I said, I don't really buy that. I think that maybe the timetable got stepped up a bit, but ain't nothing happened weren't gonna happen. They just use this as an excuse. We got a little payback in the meantime. That's the way I look at it.
I suppose you're right.
Trevor, how much daylight do we have left?
Give me a spirit roll.
All right.
I love doing that to
Nope.
this group.
Nope, nothing.
You have about 2 hours of daylight left.
Well, seeing as how dusk approaches, I propose we set up camp here for now, since it seems like a well enough away spot where we could conceal ourselves a little bit.
I'd still like to get a little further away. That lawman may not have noticed me, but he seemed right mean.
I mean, I'm not sure I said that. He might be a wonderful person. You should give him a chance.
So is that another spirit roll then to see if we can find another spot, or do we get a...
Trevor sets up this great NPC, and then Zach wants nothing to do with it.
No, I actually didn't set anything up for him, but I'm just like, this little, he might be a nice guy. You don't know.
Just as I seemed unassuming, he seems mean.
No, I don't think another spirit. Maybe give me a wits roll.
All right, I'm good at that. I got 5s again.
Yeah, as you leave the town, you're able to find a nice secluded spot away from the rest of everyone else, and you feel fairly confident that you haven't been followed or anything like that. So you guys get up the next morning. There is a good day or so of travel, and where nothing happens, and then the next day, everybody give me a wits roll.
Wow, I'm on a roll. 5s and 3 nudges.
Nothing in a nudge.
2s and a nudge.
Clydus, as you kind of being the more experienced rider, you head out and scout a little bit ahead, and then we'll come back and you'll let them pass you as you rest your horse, and then lag a little bit behind. And one of the times that you lag a little bit behind, you look to follow your tracks to see if you're being followed. And in the very, very distance, you wouldn't have been able to see it if you hadn't doubled back like you do. You see a dust cloud that seems to be coming straight from where you guys have left from.
Finn, Bella, we need to set ourselves here a little ambush.
What makes you say that?
Got company. Clydus points off in the distance.
You would have to ride to catch up with them a little bit, and so you wouldn't have been able to point out or see the dust cloud once you've caught up with them.
Oh, okay.
But,
well,
you're able to easily relay the information.
Yeah. I would like to try and set up a series of fake tracks, and then find a spot to hide where we can observe as they come by. Or how far is the dust cloud? Are they likely to catch up to us soon?
You imagine that they're about 3 hours behind you.
Yeah, I think that's a good... That's close enough where I'd want to try and set an ambush.
Okay, give me a wits roll, and depending on how good it is, I'll add to your spirit roll.
Okay, here's where I fail. I got 3 nudges, so I'm going to spend 2 of those and reroll. Nope, just a nudge.
Okay, so you're able to create this false set of tracks, but as you're doing your scouting, you've been trying to find this area where it might be the road is like compact enough that it's not going to leave any tracks, or maybe there's a zone, or maybe there's a stream that you can start walking through. But in the end, you're not really able to find a way to disguise the real tracks, and so you know that they're only going to follow this false set up to the point where you've made it to, and then they're still going to have a real set to follow if they even pick the false set to begin with.
All right. Try and set up the ambush for where they'd be at the false set.
How do Bella and Finn feel about that?
Let's do it.
Sure. I mean, also, if you boys want, I can act as a decoy. If you wanted to get a little bit further away.
Maybe just a decoy on the spot. How much time do we have, Trevor?
Probably about 2 hours and 15 minutes left after creating the false tracks.
Probably got plenty of time.
Are there any like rock outcroppings or anything like that where I'd be able to push some stuff over and maybe cause a landslide in their path?
Give me a spirit roll and make it a pretty darn fancy one. And I'm gonna subtract 1 from your spirit for this.
We've got 4s.
With 4s, you're able to find area where there's like a hill, and there's one large stone, but you don't think that there's anywhere close enough to be like an avalanche or a rock slide. But you do have one good stone to play with.
One good stone. Okay.
Well, I was thinking we could maybe try to make it look like the horse threw a shoe, and Bella could play damsel in distress.
And Finn can be ready with a rock in case he needs to roll it.
And Bella can have her shotgun ready nearby on the horse.
That sounds like a good enough plan to me.
Oh yeah, I guess I should have said that in Clydus. I'll go find a bush. Yeah, Clydus is going to go hide in a bush with his gun trained and ready.
Okay, Finn and Clydus, give me a wits roll to hide yourselves and your horses.
4s.
Oh, 1s and a nudge.
And then Bella, go ahead and give me a charm roll to fake being in distress somehow.
Okay. And also, for the record, just in case this helps, Bella definitely doesn't have the same look that she did back in Rashikin. She's wearing much more casual clothing, like a kind of plain white blouse and trousers, and her hair is down. So she looks a bit different from back there. That was 3s and a nudge.
Okay, so the way that I'm imagining this is that there's this steep hill with this big rock towards the top, and Clydus, are you hiding towards the bottom of the hill?
Yeah.
Okay, remind me what your wits roll was. Who had which one?
1s and a nudge.
I had
You
4s.
Had the ones. And then Zach, you're up at the top of the hill. Clydus is down, sort of close by, but in a bush that he thought he might be less visible in. As you guys are waiting there, a group of 6 horsemen start to ride up, and as they get close enough, assuming that you guys waited long enough to spring the trap, and that's all you wanted to do.
Yes.
Okay. As they ride up, one of them shouts, and Clydus, you notice him point at the bush that you're in, and 3 of the horsemen break off towards you as 2 of them ride up towards Bella, but none of them have weapons in their hands yet.
Clydus tries to sneak away.
Okay, give me a physique roll. I'm going to make this -1 because they've already spotted you in the bush.
Alright, so is that 4? We're not counting my my Koloth stuff?
It's definitely not a brute strength roll.
I got 2s and a nudge.
Okay.
I'm sitting here thinking of like Wile E. Coyote in the bush with the little tiptoes.
Exactly.
Just like the.
I rolled 5 dice. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Awesome. Clydus is sneaky for the win.
Clydus drops to his belly, and he starts crawling. And the bush that he's chosen just happened to be in this little bit of a ditch. And he's able to
and hold on. This bush, Clydus does like the classic, speaking of Wile E. Coyote, props his cowboy hat up on a branch.
And as they're riding up, you are able to crawl through this ditch and get on the other side of this small tree and rock outcropping nearby. And so as they ride up on you, one of them grabs your hat from the bush and waves it at the 2 guys that are almost up on top of Bella now.
And Clydus is going to have a shot trained at that guy's head. He's not firing, but he's in position to fire.
One of the 2 guys up on Bella?
No, the guy who's waving the hat.
Oh, worried about the hat.
Of course.
Bella, how do you react as they ride up towards you?
As they're riding up, I'm gonna start waving them down. Just in the friendliest manner that I possibly can. And maybe I have like a cowboy hat that I'm waving at them. And I go, "Howdy, gents. Nice to see you here. I'm in a bit of a bind if you could help me out."
They're looking at you very suspiciously, but they slow their horses down to a small trot as they come up closer and closer to you. I'd say that they're about 12 feet away when you say that, and they're continuing to walk forward as they respond. "Howdy there. You wouldn't happen to be Beladora Wilde, would you?"
I don't know. Do I look like a Beladora Wilde?
And they've closed about halfway of the distance towards you when you say that. "Well, we spotted one of the friends, I think, in this town. We've been following these tracks, and you kind of breathe this description." He pulls out one of the wanted posters and starts reading from the description.
"Well, gentlemen, as you can see, I'm not wearing a dress, and I don't have my hair up."
They give me a charm roll.
That was 5s and a nudge.
"Well, you see, Miss Beladora, if that's what your name is, people can change clothes, and you got the right color hair."
Well, is it a sin to be redhead these days?
Finn and Clydus, what are you 2 doing?
Can we overhear?
I'm waiting for visible signs of distress before I do anything.
Same.
Just wait until they're holding her at gunpoint, then you can start doing something.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, I trust in the Beladora charm.
That's kind of where I'm going with this too. I want to see what happens.
I don't want to fuck anything up before it's time to fuck it up.
Talking out of trouble is Bella's strong point, and I'm gonna let her do that.
I mean, the 5s and the nudge was good.
I've been talking myself out of
5 and 2
trouble all
nudges.
day. Please, let me live.
As you 2
What was
keep
that, Trevor?
talking, the other 3 horsemen turn away from the bush and start heading towards Bella at a slow walk.
Bella, you gonna make another play, or should I just spring the trap?
Well, this is a party, isn't it? All right. Well, boys, I'll tell you what. You give me a head start on foot. That's pretty generous, I think. And I'll tell you, boys, where the other 2 went.
The 2 of them look back and forth, and then they look back at you. From what I understand of what the Irvans want, you're the only one we really need. And they're going to pull out, one of them's going to pull a rope out from behind his back and start to loosen it a little bit.
That's a sign of distress.
I pull out my shotgun.
I go.
Yep. Clydus immediately takes a shot.
Okay, we'll go ahead and consider this the first round of combat. Clydus, I'm going to give you the benefit of the aim action for 2 rounds. So you're going to add 2 to your physique for taking your shot. But you're still going to be shooting at the guy who's holding your hat.
Yes.
Okay. And so we'll consider this combat. Bella, you are shooting at one of them with your shotgun?
I guess I am.
Okay. They would need to declare first, so if anybody wants to change what they're saying, because they're tied with your wits. But the one of them was going to get off his horse and walk towards you with the rope. The rest of them aren't really going to do anything at the moment, not knowing exactly what's happening. And so we'll consider this kind of surprise round where they will redeclare on their turn and then have a half die pool for whatever actions they decide to take.
Okay.
So let's figure out die pools. Bella, I am going to give you +1 for manipulating in the way that you have and for the strength of your charm rolls to your physique for surprising them. But you don't have anything else to bump that in terms of gunfighting, so your die pool is going to be 4.
Yep.
Finn, how many charges are you pumping in?
I think I'm going to do the full 10.
Okay, so also give yourself 30 charges for what you've stored up between the end of the last long breather and this one. So to get up to 10, you need to use 40, so we're going to take you down to 7.
Okay.
And then Clydus, with your quick draw and your 2 aim, you're going to have a die pool of 8.
I don't think quick draw would apply here, right? Because he's not quick drawing. He's had it. He's had it trained.
I guess that's true. So yeah, we'll give you 7. The one who has the rope isn't going to change what he's doing. Honestly, I don't feel like any of them would get a chance to react this turn, so that's just how we're going to play it. We'll start with Finn. Go ahead and tell me what you're aiming at, and give me that roll.
I'm going to aim for the gents that are hanging back from the guy that's doing the rope.
Okay, and the way we're going to play this is that those guys are going to be harder to hit, but there is much less chance of injuring Bella with the rock.
Perfect. That's 3 nudges, so I'm going to spend 2. That's better. 5's in a nudge.
Okay. Yeah, so that beats all of their rolls. You are able to just give this rock a really quick sudden shove where you spend all of these charges in one instance. And the rock doesn't so much roll as it just launches from the top of the hill and comes screaming down and lands right in front of them. It knocks 2 of them off of their horses completely, and one of them actually bumps his head and gets knocked out completely. The other guy that's knocked off of his horse wasn't the one holding Clydus's hat, but the one that is holding Clydus's hat, his horse rears up in surprise at it and presents a much cleaner target for Clydus. So Clydus, you're going to go ahead and add another die to your roll.
Woo! Speaking of which, is it time to roll?
It is.
I got 4s and a nudge.
Okay, let me give him... nope, he spent all his dice defending against the rock. So, how do you want to do this, Clydus?
He keeps the gun, trained on the guy's head. Horse rears up. Perfect. Bang! Sends off the shot. Am I killing him? I'd get +2 damage. Is that why you're telling me how this is?
Yep. Zach, I hope you don't mind me taking over for the rock.
Oh, no problem. That's exactly how I wanted it to happen. I mean, I could have done a little bit more and got like a strike or something. But,
one of
that
them
works.
had rolled a 1, a pair of 1s. One of them rolled a pair of 3s and a nudge. One of them rolled a pair of 4s and a nudge. So that's how I determined that.
Gotcha.
Bella, let's go ahead and head to you. You have a roll of 4.
So, wait, Mike, you didn't answer my question. Is he dead?
Oh, yeah, he's definitely dead.
Okay. Yeah, so shoots him in the head, drops him from the horse.
It's been a while since we've actually killed people.
Honestly, I think, isn't this the first one ever?
No, the very first one was we also killed people. At least I think we did. The bank heist. Those Alamancers that were after us.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, at least disabled them.
Yeah. I was thinking door between door and dynamite. One of them wasn't looking good at the end of that.
Well, and I still haven't decided if you guys killed the guys that you left unconscious in the jail or not.
Oh, that's true. That's right.
But anyways, Bella, it is your roll.
Okay. I am thinking about actually trying something a little bit different. I don't want to shoot at them. I do want to riot. I don't think that I can riot a group, can I? That's a different stunt.
I think you can do very small groups, but nothing above. Do you remember what the cap was, John?
I thought you did need the stunt to do a group.
I thought it was a group of a certain size. Let me...
I think the group was 20 then. It's, like I said, I don't have the manual with me right now. New computer and all.
Give me just a second and I can look this up. But you will reduce your die pool in half.
You also have to flare in order to attack their emotions, so keep that in mind as far as the duration is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But that's usually not too much of a problem. Zinc doesn't burn too quickly. I think it's normally like 20 minutes, isn't it, per charge?
Something about there.
And a flare does, 10 times as much? So one charge should last you at least a full battle if you're flaring.
Yeah, I think any group under 10, because it's saying that the effect crowd, you can riot a number of people of up to 20 times your zinc rioting. So at basic level, that's 100 people for the stunt.
Okay. Yeah, my goal is to riot everybody that's in close enough range to me. And I'm gonna, just really tug on their fear. And I'm gonna say, come on, boys, one of my men equals at least 3 of you, so I wouldn't get too confident about your odds.
I'd say I'm at least 4.
Yeah, that's why I said at least 3.
So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and roll your rioting as normal, and then we will, depending on the outcome of that, add to your charm, and then cut that die pool in half.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay, that was 5s and a nudge.
Okay, yeah, this guy's poor spirit of 3 was not able to stand up to that. So the guy who, the only guy left on a horse, the other guy having gotten off to walk towards you with the rope, and then the other one on the ground, looks and sees that 2 of his friends are already out of commission, and the other 2 are off of their horses, and he just kicks his heels into the back of his horse and takes off further down the path that you guys were heading in the first direction. Just because he didn't want to try and take time to turn around or anything. He just speeds past you and starts running.
Okay, it works for me.
We will go back to the top of the combat round then, because I believe that's everybody. Oh no, then it's the actual guy's turn. The one on the ground is going to pull out his revolver and try and shoot at Clydus. He's going to have a -2 modifier for being on the ground and for shooting into the cover that Clydus has. And then the guy with the rope is going to pull out his pistol and take a shot at Finnigan. So one of them has a die pool of 5, one of them has a die pool of 3. Bella and Finn declare next, Clydus declares last.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run down the hill and shoulder check one of the whoever's closest to me and has their gun out.
So as far away as you are up the hill, I'm going to say that you can spend your action to move as well as getting your 1 movement closer, but you still won't be within striking range.
Would I have any extra momentum coming off the hill?
I can give you a physique roll to try and make the distance, but it's going to be fairly difficult because it's a pretty significant steep hill.
I'll do it.
And so, like, if you give yourself over to gravity, there's as much of a chance of it working against you as helping you.
I'll give it a shot.
Okay. So we will consider that as your action. It's kind of a reckless action. We'll adjust things accordingly, but we'll make it as if you're just trying to do the physique roll against him to do the shoulder check. So that's going to give you... I'll give you the +1 for stronger than he looks because the guy wouldn't be expecting it. So your die pool will be 7. Bella, what do you want to do?
How far away is he from me?
He will have to get, he's 3 steps from you, and so if you're within 1 step, it's like hand striking distance.
Okay, I'm just going to take a step closer to him, and I'm gonna level my shotgun right at his head, and say, I wouldn't if I were you.
Okay, we will make this another charm roll. We will give you +1 for pointing the shotgun at him. Clydus, what do you want to do?
Alright, I mistyped something here, so I'm gonna need your help. My powerful legs stunt, or power, whatever it's called. I have it written as run 25 miles per away. Is that supposed to be 25 miles per hour?
I believe so. In combat, the important one is that you can take 2 steps without taking an action, or 3 while you take an action. So you get to move 1 step closer than everybody else would.
So, how fast does a horse go?
I think like at a trot. I'm not sure.
Because what I want to do is basically try and take off immediately and chase the guy on the horse. And see if I can line up a shot on him before he can get away.
I will give you the 2 steps closer to him, and I will give you 1 shot with no adverse conditions, if you want to take that right now.
Yes.
Okay, so we will make that a straight physique roll of 5. That means that Bella and Finn are tied for their dice pools.
Okay. So Bella, you want to go first?
Sure. So, charm, you said?
Yep.
Okay. That was another 5s and a nudge.
Okay. Yeah, you pull your shotgun up to his face while he's trying to line up a shot on Finn, and he lets the gun fall to the ground. Finn, do you want to keep going with that action, or do you want to change it?
So who was the person aiming at Clydus the closer one?
No, it was the one who was aiming at you.
I'm still going to shoulder check him.
Okay, give me that physique roll.
No
Seven
use
dice.
making a point unless you can make it even further. That is 4s and 2 nudges.
Okay, with 4s and 2 nudges, you are able to come down the hill in a very controlled assault, and you manage to slam into him right as the revolver drops from his hand, and he falls backwards onto the ground.
Boom, baby.
Clydus, you are tied for the guy who was taking a shot at you, so you wanted to take 2 steps out and take a shot at the guy riding away?
Yes.
All right.
Now, I want to make a case for bounty hunter and hired gun as my profession. Can I get a +1 for him trying to escape?
Sure.
Awesome. I got 2s and a nudge.
Okay, he got a pair of 3s. So you take the shot, and it just happens to skit on the a rock outcropping of the hill right next to him, and just barely misses him as he turns around a corner.
Rust and ruin.
And then it is going to be the guy who is taking a shot at you's turn. He had only a -1 now since you moved out of cover. He got a pair of 2s. So Clydus, you are going to take 2 damage.
All right. Health, there it is.
And then back to the top of the order. Effectively, you've only got the one guy left. He is going to try and keep shooting at Clydus. Finn, what do you want to do?
I'm going to pick up the revolver that the guy dropped and chuck it at the other guy's head.
Okay. Bella?
I'm gonna riot Finn's sense of badassery.
All right. Clydus.
Clydus is going to keep running towards that horse and trying to take another shot.
Okay. Bella, or actually, Clydus, you would have with a 6. It'd be the same as Finn. Finn's going to wait until after Bella because he might get a boost for that. So yeah, Clydus, why don't you go ahead and roll first? I'm going to give you just at 5 this time because he's going to have some advantage of some cover from the hill.
All right. 4s and a nudge.
He got 5s. This guy's hanging on.
This blasted bastard.
So yeah, he ducks low in his saddle and right at the last second, and your shot goes just above his head. Next, let's go to Bella. Give me your riding roll, which is 7 now.
That was 4s.
Okay, Finn, add +1 to your die pool.
Heck yeah.
And go ahead and chuck that gun.
Chuck that gun! Chuck that gun! It really wanted me to get 3s because there are 4 of them.
Oh, I rolled 2 of his 5 dice and I got 2 5s.
Ah!
So he does a quick roll onto from his back onto his stomach to get a better shot this time, and he happens to roll right out of the way of the gun. Clydus, he's going to take the shot at you, and he's going to roll nothing. Back to the top of the order. Finn, what would you... this guy's doing the same thing. He's going to fire his 3rd shot at Clydus. Finn, what would you like to do?
At this point, I'm just going to walk up to the guy and kick him in, because he's down, right?
Yeah, he's definitely on the ground.
I'm going to football kick his head.
Okay. Bella.
I'm honestly just along for the ride, so at this point I'll just shout, "Go get him, Finn!" Yeah! Woo!
And Clydus, I will give you one more shot at this guy at a -2 difficulty.
Yep, doing it.
Okay, Finn, you go first.
Okay.
This guy's gonna roll with 2 to defend again.
That will be 5s and a nudge, good sir.
Okay, with 5s and a nudge, you connect very solidly with the bottom of this guy's chin. And as your foot goes up, you feel his mouth clamp shut and then give a little bit further as you kick him square in the jaw. And this man falls back onto his back again and just goes limp on the ground.
That was a football kick.
Clydus, give me your last roll at 4 dice.
3 nudges. I'm going to re-roll my last 2. Nothing.
Yeah, so you take one last shot, but he manages to swerve again at the last moment, and he seems to be free and clear out of the way for the time being.
Rust and ruin. Clydus holsters his gun. There's no one left, right?
Right.
Is anyone left standing, or are they all dead?
There's the one that got knocked unconscious by the stone throw. But he's the most likely person to either him or the guy that Zach tackled.
Can I check to see if the football kicked dude is alive?
He is alive, but even if he was conscious, he is in no state to talk.
I think I broke his jaw.
Pretty badly.
Yeah.
Clydus is going to tie up, like hog tie, the dude who seems most likely to be able to talk.
I'm gonna actually, to kind of cover our trail a bit, could I smack the horses to get them running off in different directions?
Sure. Go ahead and give me a wits roll for this.
After we pilfer
Can I
their
pillage
supplies.
their saddlebags first.
Definitely
Exactly.
Give me a wits roll.
Okay.
Clydus is also joining in.
That was 3s and a nudge for me.
And that
And a
was
whole bunch
4s
of
for
nudges.
smacking the horses.
Alright, nothing for Clydus on the search.
Okay, Clydus, the couple of saddlebags that you searched through don't have anything in particular, other than like rations and different survival tools for the trail. Bella, you do happen to come across another one of the posters, and then you also find a letter that is much less official looking, but is calling for double the reward money offered on the bounty poster if anybody's able to bring Beladora Wilde back to the Urban family alive.
So presumably this was from Veretta.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an extra bounty that she's put out outside of the law.
You know, this kind of...
I'm just gonna kind of strut around showing the boys and be like, look at how bad she wants me. It's so cute.
You know, they have such a bad description of me, I have half a mind to take you there, take the prize money, and then break you out.
Let's not.
Honestly, I kind of love that idea.
I kind of love that
Imagine
idea
how
too.
mad she'd be. Oh my god, she'd be furious. It'd be so good.
What am I gonna do in the meantime? There's no way in Rust that I'm gonna be sneaking in there. We all know how my luck is with hired help in that city.
It's okay, you'll be the backup.
It's okay, I can knock him out for you.
Oh, and to celebrate the first episode of the new season, Clydus has him strung up behind his back, same way he did with that little runt in the very first episode Clydus showed up in.
I assume that you're tying him up mostly so you can question him.
Yep.
Yeah, he's basically just a low-level bounty hunter, sometimes for the law, sometimes otherwise, which is how that they were able to find the offer from Veretta. And basically they had, they rolled really high. They rolled 5s and 2 nudges to spot, Finn back in town.
Oh, good lord.
Mm.
And then your perception check was like a 3, I think.
It was a 2.
Yeah, so they smoked you on that one.
Yep.
Yeah, these seem to be high rollers.
Yeah, I never rolled more than 5 dice for these guys, but they rolled a significant number of 5s.
Tragic that it couldn't save them.
Nope.
I've got this,
Come
like...
back when you guys have names.
I've got like this image in my head now of Finnigan just going down that hill where he kind of jumps off a sheer end and just kind of catches himself for the speed boost and just shoulder checks the guy, and I'm like, yeah, that was cool.
Well, I especially like how Bella's got it handled, and then like a split second too late, whoosh!
Wham!
I'm coming, Bella!
Does he give us any information regarding the chances that his friend will be back with more people?
Give me a, let's make this a wits roll.
Alrighty.
+1 for being a bounty hunter.
Ooh, I got 5s and 2 nudges.
Based on his experiences with the guy, you do not think he's the type of person to come with more backup.
Excellent.
He's the type of guy to tell the story at the next 3 taverns about how you don't want to fuck with these people.
Oh, gosh dang it.
All I had to do was shout at him a little bit.
And to add
There
to
we
their
go.
reputation, Clydus is going to strip the remaining living members, take their clothes, and leave them to their chances naked. You'll fill their water bottles.
Bella, that a giant boulder came down from the heavens and crushed one of their friends.
Yeah, I was kind of banking on that, just helping my chances. For good measure, I'm also going to steal one of their hats.
But you see, the Bella in the description doesn't have a hat.
No, wait, I've got an even better idea. We keep running from the law, and then they double the prize again. And then Finnigan takes you in.
Finn just really wants to turn Bella in. He's just not really pleased with how the.
It's like, this
how
is
the
finally a
last
way
arc
you can
turned
pay
out.
your bill.
I just think that'd be a really cool story at this point.
True.
Honestly, I'm down.
I mean, I love the idea. That would eliminate several extra steps that I would have to take.
Clydus is not happy with the idea. He does not want to head straight back into
Mostly
trouble.
because he just has to like sit outside of town and sulk.
Where's the last place they would expect you when you're on the run? The place where
Their
they're not.
jail cell.
Right. Clydus has no problem with sulking. He just doesn't want to sulk immediately near danger. I ain't getting paid enough to go head back to that kind of trouble.
No, that's fair. Let's wait until they double the prize.
Then you'll get paid enough.
All right, deal.
All right. Anything else that we want to do before we wrap things up tonight?
Clydus takes a leak.
Okay. I think that's all the narrative description that needs.
Does
In
Finn
the
find a
ditch.
leak?
They're out of season.
Okay.
Bella might leave a very nice message attached to one of the boys that just says, "You'll have to try harder with a little heart."
I've got this idea that Bella got out a really old style quill, with a really sharp point and a pot of ink, and wrote it on their chests.
Oh yeah.
She's the original tattoo artist.
Bella, do you have any bonnets with you, or other feminine styled hats?
I don't think that she's a bonnet type of girl.
Bo?
Please, Beladora Wilde's an outlaw. She doesn't need no stinking bonnet.
How many tresses does she have? Come on, Finn. You know she loves her fashion. I'm just saying, do you have something feminine you could leave him to add insult to injury?
You know, I'm almost imagining that on your note, instead of harder and the heart, you write the heart followed by ER.
I love that. You'll have to try harder. Nah, she's more like a little passive aggressive little heart drawn on after the end. Tragically.
No, you sign it Beladora Wilde and you put a heart in the eye.
yeah, that's about it. But I think that instead of leaving a girly hat or something on him, she'll just apply some lipstick before she leaves and give him a little smooch right on the cheek.
There we go.
Start leaving the calling card.
Yeah.
It's, oh my gosh, we're in holes!
Damn it. I'll have to rewrite the whole second season now.
So, where are we gonna get Bella some poison lipstick? Because I'm very much into that.
We will have to find a place, but not this episode, because I think we will go ahead and call it there for the night.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. We will catch you again in 2 weeks' time.
Bye.
Bye.
Mistborn and all related properties are owned by Brandon Sanderson and Dragonsteel Entertainment. The Mistborn adventure game is a product of Crafty Games. Special thanks to Steve Argyle for letting us use his artwork for the logo, and to Boardroom Design for putting the logo together for us. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at LLOS Podcast, or give us an email at lostlegendsofscadrial@gmail.com. We hope that you'll like and share and give us a review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Oh my god, I don't have any dice. What am I doing? How do I play this game? Hello?